It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce the President of the Ohio Farm Bureau Federation. Bill Patterson was elected the 25th President of the Ohio Farm Bureau Federation in 2021. He has been a member of Ohio Farm Bureau's State Board since 2011, previously serving as the organization's first Vice President and as Treasurer. Bill farms with his family, raising apples, strawberries, and peaches. They produce maple syrup and donuts. The Pattersons have an agritourism operation which includes a farm market, bakery, fall fun fest, pick your own apples and strawberries, and a wedding venue. They also wholesale apple cider throughout Northeast Ohio. As a 30-year member of the Geauga County Farm Bureau, he has served as its county president and vice president. He is also a member of various commodity organizations. He received his bachelor's degree in agricultural economics from The Ohio State University. Bill and his amazing wife, Kristen, together have 4 children and reside at the family farm near Chesterland, Ohio. Please help me in welcoming President Bill Patterson.
Well, welcome to the 105th annual meeting of your Ohio Farm Bureau. I just need to add, I just have to interject right here that it was exciting about 10 minutes before this. My son from Ohio State University just surprised me, and he's now here with me to hear this speech. So that is very exciting that he's there. So welcome, Sam and his girlfriend, Ashley. Thank you for being here. The cultivating tomorrow together. These are 3 extremely important words in what we do every day. Cultivating obviously has many meanings. As farmers, we cultivate to prepare the fields for a crop. But maybe more importantly, particularly as we talk today, we cultivate our relationships. We cultivate relationships with our neighbors. We cultivate relationships with the consumers. And we also cultivate relationships with legislators for every day. And why? Because we want a better tomorrow. We want to make sure that as decisions are being made that are going to affect who we are tomorrow, that we are part of the conversation. That goes with farming. We're cultivating the fields to have a better tomorrow. And then how do we always do it in Farm Bureau? We always do it together. It's part of our mission statement, working together for Ohio farmers to advance agriculture and strengthen our communities. We are always better with more voices. You saw it in the precursor there, the commercial there for membership. Stronger voices together. And I see this every year. I talk about this, maybe I talk about it too much. I talk about the top 5 events, but I'm not going to hide away from those top 5 events because they are so important with what we do, and they're so important about how we can continue to be strong in agriculture. The first event, here today, OFBF annual meeting. This is so important, and I was just in some conversations I had out in the hall. I always talk about and lead with the fact of how important it is that we set the agenda, we set the marching orders for the state organization on who we're going to be the next year, what's important to us. But I think it is absolutely equally important that we celebrate the successes of the last year. 2023 was an extremely successful year for Ohio Farm Bureau and Ohio agriculture. We accomplished things we hadn't accomplished before. We had conversations, we built relationships, and we had awards that we have not experienced. 2023 was a great year, and we look forward to 2024 with your help being another great year. Ag Day at the Capitol. I hope everybody in this room has been to Ag Day at the Capitol. If you haven't been, I encourage you highly to go. It's in February, and it's where about 250 to 300 members come down to Columbus for a day to have conversations and build relationships with their legislators. And as I think about what we do down there. Sometimes we're delivering a message. Sometimes it's a specific message that we want to deliver. But a lot of times it's just making that relationship with your legislator, knowing that that relationship is going to turn into a phone call. I just received a phone call a week ago on a very important issue to a lot of farmers I received from my state legislator and called up, wanted to know my opinion and wanted to know the opinions of the people that this affected. And so I gave them some names of some people that this affected. That is tremendous. If we have that opportunity, that means when they're thinking about making a vote on something that will affect us, they're thinking about you and how that will affect you in that vote. Similar to the Ag Day at the Capitol, President's trip to D.C. 86 county farm bureaus descending. I just love it. They just descend on Washington, D.C. And the relationship, still probably the most important thing, but the last 3 trips we've taken, whether it's the President's trip to D.C. or the President's in conjunction with AgriPower and the young ag professionals, there has been a specific item that our legislators have been voting on that affects Ohio agriculture that we have been able to influence their decision and, again, putting a face to their vote. And then this one's tricky for how I say this. This is sort of the blank county annual meeting. In my case, it's the Geauga County annual meeting. But for all of you guys, it's your annual meeting. And that's the grassroots, right? I mean, you have your policy development, you bring that policy to your annual meeting, and your members in your county discuss those issues that you are going to bring forth to this floor. And again, like we're doing today, you guys also celebrate your successes of what you've accomplished in the past year. And then there's the Policy Development Committee. In a few minutes, this dais is going to be populated with the Policy Development Committee, and a lot of you guys have served on this. But I love the second meeting of the Policy Development Committee where 20 people take your guys' ideas, all your members' ideas, bring them forward, and try and take the spirit of what you guys were talking about and put forth policy in this book that we're going to discuss and vote on today. And a lot of times, some of the potentially most controversial things we're going to talk about, 20 people sat in a room and hashed it out, sometimes for hours on a single subject, hashed out how we are going to effectively bring the policy that the county's brought forward and place it into the book. And so sometimes there's not as much discussion because that Policy Development Committee has done such a great job. Now, there's 2 other events that are kind of tied in with these events that are so important to what we do. But the first is a Young Ag Professional Winter Leadership Conference. 500, somewhere between 400 and 600, 500 under 35 youth that are going to be involved in agriculture and are going to be the next generation, sometimes, most often, the current generation of advocates, but the next generation of advocates that are going to lead forward on agriculture. And when you talk about the programming that this Young Ag Professional Group does is incredible, very valuable, but the relationships, my gosh, you can just sit back in a corner and you watch these 500 youth building their relationships, building out their networks in agriculture that is, again, going to strengthen us. And I really do look forward, I think this is the right time, congratulating Mike Hannawald, Emily Warnemount, Casey and Joe Everett, and Casey and John Hummel for being the 4 new additions to the Young Ag Professional Committee. Very excited for their leadership. The last event is the Ohio State Fair, and this is a little bit loaded because it's not just the fair. One of the things that I guess I did not realize when I had the opportunity to serve in this position was how important the Ohio State Fair is to building out our networks and building out our relationships. It is unbelievable the amount of staff time and volunteer time and leader time down there because you are meeting with everybody. You have the legislators, you've got the commodities, you've got your partners Nationwide and Farm Credit, you've got the Ohio State University, Dean Kress. Quick shout out to Cy Prettyman for representing at the Dean's Celebrity Steer Show this year, doing a great job there. But the other thing that I do want to point out at this point is a thank you to Rose Hartshu. Rose Hartshu serves on the Ohio Exposition Commission. As you guys may or may not be aware, a lot is going on in the Ohio Expo Commission and where the Ohio State Fair, what that's going to look like, what the footprint, how we're going to operate here in the future. And we are so blessed to have strong agricultural leadership on that commission. And as you see here on the screen, we do have a layout of a $240 million first phase investment by the state of Ohio into the Ohio State Fairgrounds, remaining in place with the same footprint it's been, with agriculture as the #1 priority. That has been a big deal for Ohio Farm Bureau and a priority issue for Ohio Farm Bureau over the last year, and we are where we want to be. So we appreciate all of the help there. And we do have a great pipeline of leaders coming through. At the American Farm Bureau meeting in San Juan, Puerto Rico, it's hard for me to describe the room, and I just use the word palpable is really the only use. The excitement that the Ohio delegation had when Mike Hannawald, as the winner of the AFBF National, first place winner of the National Discussion Meet, and Stacy Anderson, the Excellence in Ag winner from Ohio, were both announced as the winners and received their $35,000 each towards new Ford pickup trucks. It was exciting, to say the very least. Can we show our appreciation to Stacy and Mike? Congratulations, and Stacy Anderson says it best. If you want cool things to happen in your community, it's up to you to go out and make cool things happen. That's what you guys are doing every single day, and their leadership is making a big impact on Lucas and Woods County that they represent. And more leaders are being developed each year through the AgriPower program. We have retooled the AgriPower program just slightly this year to make sure that the AgriPower program is really showing the advocacy and the support of Ohio agriculture. And one of the things that we did is we invited the AgriPower Class 14 to be with us today. Would AgriPower Class 14 please stand up and be recognized? Thank you. You see these individuals, and this is what I really liked. I mean, you see a lot of the individuals, maybe half the class over there sitting on this side, but the other half is here. They're delegates, they're county leaders already, and that is going to pay tremendous dividends. Last night, we had them for dinner, and we asked all of the AgriPower graduates in the room to stand up, and it is exciting to see that that program is clearly creating the results and creating leaders in Ohio agriculture. So we are excited to see how they move forward in the future. And this is probably the most exciting thing that I get to do each year, and it's really, quite frankly, unbelievable. Again this year, the American Farm Bureau County Awards of Achievement, 24 were given out, and 1/3 of those projects were given to Ohio counties, and they represented 11 counties. Yeah. For all you that have been to the American Farm Bureau meeting, it really is. I mean, you walk down the aisles where they're presenting, and you just hear the other states going, wow, what's Ohio doing? Like, this is incredible. And the people lined up to talk to these people. It is so exciting and makes you so proud to be from Ohio and know our programming is so quality. So those counties: Adams County, Farm Bureau Day at the Fair; Auglaize, Logan, Mercer, and Shelby counties, Local Agriculture Activity Book, and the piggies. What did we do here? Local Agriculture Activity Book. I was reading from the screen there, and maybe it's in the piggies. Clinton County, Piggies, Pie, Play Ball, and Putt-Putt event. Fayette County, Farm to Fork Goes to Town. Fulton County, Tomato to Table, a breakfast on the farm event. Alternative Livestock Show for Individuals with Developmental Disabilities from Henry County. Muskingum County's Building for the Future of Agriculture event at the fair, and Trumbull County Books and Barns Ag Literacy Project. Let's again give a round of applause to these county farm bureaus. Our county programming is something that absolutely sets us apart. And these are just some examples of Farm Bureau events that make a difference in the counties, and they would not be possible without the time, talents, and thoughtfulness of our volunteers. The thousands of hours devoted to helping Ohio Farm Bureau add value to our mission and strengthen our communities we live in is an investment that few organizations can make. But beyond these events, our members are making a difference and providing value in other ways. East Palestine. I think we all know what occurred in East Palestine. Before the dust even settled, volunteers and staff from Ohio Farm Bureau, Columbiana County Farm Bureau, and other good partners were working to solve the problems that the farmers face. Very specifically, the health and safety of the animals, the environment, as well as their, and most importantly, their own families. I think we had a big shout out to Danielle Birch, to our organization director in the area, Nick Kennedy, the Columbiana County Farm Bureau leaders, as well as the other partners, including Pennsylvania Farm Bureau, who came to need. We had tests on the ground. People were talking about what to do. Agriculture had to know now. We literally had to know. So we had tests out before people were even done with the conversation. We were taking action in the area. So thank you guys. The Bailey case. Ohio Farm Bureau Federation and Union County Farm Bureau were involved in a court case, Columbia Gas of Ohio versus Bailey Family Arno Renner Trust, which had huge implications on eminent domain in the state of Ohio. The Third District Court of Appeals ruled that Columbia Gas of Ohio did not demonstrate the taking of the Bailey farm was a necessity. Union County Farm Bureau member Patrick Bailey said that his family is very thankful for Union County and Ohio Farm Bureau that they had their backs through this entire ordeal, having our backs. When we are busy farming, we need someone that has our backs, and that is what Farm Bureau does for us. CAUV in Lorain County. I remember State Board member Adele Flynn bringing this up probably a couple of years ago, and she said, this is a problem. My members are calling me, and this is a significant problem. And she enlisted the help of the Ohio Farm Bureau staff, and as well Amanda Dennis from the area, and they went to Lorain County Auditor Craig Snodgrass multiple times, pushing their case, making them understand the issue, and Auditor Snodgrass changed the rules on how CAUV was applied to fix it to be what Farm Bureau needed, and that was moving land that was previously classified as residual, such as structures, waterways, and fence lines, and that now will receive CAUV designation. This doesn't only affect Lorain County, this affects statewide, because Auditor Snodgrass will be talking about those applications, saving Lorain County Farm Bureau members millions of dollars. Ashtabula Broadband. This was exciting. This was in my home area. And in July, Ashtabula County Farm Bureau was named a recipient of $23,200 in grants for a rural connectivity project through Broadband Ohio. This was a partnership between Lake Geauga, Ashtabula, and Trumbull County, and using the Rural Connections Project that helped divide the rural divide caused by a few factors, including lack of broadband access, lack of affordable options, and lack of digital skills in our community, working together for Ohio farmers. Mental health efforts. 10 years ago, we weren't even talking about mental health. And today, very excited to have Highland County Farm Bureau member Brandon Fullenkamp becoming a leading advocate for farmer mental health in the country, and even featured on a fireside chat with American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall, talking about those efforts. And because of his efforts, many other counties are taking on programming and doing various things to be able to break down the wall of mental health and farmer stress in agriculture. You're going to hear even more about these efforts being made at the Ohio Farm Bureau Foundation meeting at the Foundation Breakfast tomorrow. Let's show our appreciation to Brandon Fullenkamp. Speaking of the foundation, the foundation in its efforts to build out pathways and youth pathways and build out the youth workforce in Ohio agriculture. Ohio Farm Bureau Foundation last year gave over $60,000 in scholarships to youth around the state of Ohio that are going to be involved, the next leaders in agriculture. Students like Jaden Porter, Ohio students like Jaden Porter, and their academic effort, community engagement, and career interests that are linking agriculture to community service, education, and scientific research. And then, as I go to meetings, you hear, in this role, you hear lots of programs, lots of new programs, innovative programs. And sometimes some of these programs just strike you and you say, I want to talk about that program. And I heard one such program 2 weeks ago. Mary Klopfenstein, as part of the communications part and part of the foundation, just gave an overview of this new Ag Literacy Volunteer Certification Program that I think you guys are going to be really excited about. And that is going to be a one-day certification program designed to empower Farm Bureau volunteers with the necessary skills and resources to effectively present into classrooms. This program, which is going to occur next year, will bring on 25 volunteers for each class and teach them how to engage with the students and communicate the importance of agriculture. And upon completion of the certification program, volunteers will leave equipped with the necessary tools to knowledge, confidence, and resources to effectively engage with students and communicate the importance of agriculture in their local communities. Look for more details of that program through Ohio Farm Bureau communication programs. These stories and countless others demonstrate the power of Ohio Farm Bureau, and that power comes from the strength of our members. What we're doing at the county and state level is not only making our organization stronger, in turn, it is making our state stronger and agriculture much stronger. Over the past 5 years, Ohio's agricultural contribution to the state's bottom line has grown 25% and now contributes $12.5 billion annually to the state's bottom line. And because of newly announced investments being made by major companies who have decided that Ohio is where they want to take their next big step to have their company grow, it's only going to continue to get stronger. Corporations such as the Lewis Dreyfus Company, a leading merchant and processor of agricultural goods, will invest approximately $500 million to construct a new soybean processing plant in Wyandotte County, which will bolster that region's economic growth in the critical food and agriculture sector. Cargill has recently completed an expansion and modernization at its integrated soybean crush and refined oils facility in Sidney, Ohio. The upgraded facility, which came online in September, will help Cargill better serve farmers and meet the growing demand for soy products worldwide across feed and renewable fuel markets. And at the American Farm Bureau meeting in San Juan, Puerto Rico in January, Secretary Vilsack of USDA Department of Agriculture announced that the USDA would be assisting International Food Solutions, a company that sells pre-made meals to school cafeterias, in opening a new poultry processing plant in downtown Cleveland. Located in Cleveland's central neighborhood, this plant will provide 225 jobs and will process over 60 million pounds of poultry each year. And so why Ohio? Why Ohio? In part because this group, has helped create an environment, a business climate that attracts businesses. In fact, Ohio ranked number 3 out of 50 states in overall economic development. Again, why? We have created a tax structure that is more fair to agribusinesses of all sizes. We have a robust workforce, low cost of living, and a logistical infrastructure. And the policies that we have created in this room and with the help of our lawmakers at the state and federal level have shown that Ohio is open for business and, more importantly, Ohio agriculture. These policies can be seen clearly in 2 new facilities. First, a couple weeks ago, ground was broken for the 70,000 square foot state-of-the-art Ohio Veterinary Diagnostic Laboratory, which will include 40% more laboratory space and updated biosecurity measures. The laboratory provides regulatory testing support for veterinarians, livestock producers, and agribusinesses within and beyond Ohio. This new lab will be housed in the Dr. Tony Forsey Animal Health Building. As you all know, Dr. Tony Forsey was well known in the agricultural community and dedicated his life to animal health until his passing in 2021. Last year, he was recognized at this annual meeting for his contribution to Ohio agriculture by receiving the Farm Bureau's Distinguished Service to Ag Award. Second, a new state-of-the-art multi-species animal learning center, MULC, will support the three important areas: education, research, and outreach and engagement of the Ohio State University College of Food, Agricultural, and Environmental Science, as well as the worldwide One Health initiative to expand interdisciplinary collaborations and communications in all aspects of healthcare for humans, animals, and the environment. If it were not for the strength of Ohio Farm Bureau members and your work at the local, state, and national level, the strength of our economy, our industry, and our organization simply would not exist. And speaking of our strength in members, here is a prime example. During the final weeks of the state budget this year in June, there was a provision included that was going to allow a 3-year average for residential real estate values only to limit any significant increases in taxable value. This would have completely shifted that tax advantage and that averaging in onto the backs of Ohio farmers and farmland owners. Immediately, the Ohio Farm Bureau staff and members leapt into action, made contact with their legislators, and at the last minute got this provision removed, arguably saving farmers millions and millions of dollars in taxes over the next few years. Additionally, the tremendous response from our members pushed the legislators to include in the budget program the Joint Property Tax Review Committee committed to exploring comprehensive property tax reform. Ohio Farm Bureau is excited to be part of that group and part of this to make sure that the CAUV program the voters initiated in the mid-70s is providing its purpose that the voters originally intended to, as well as protecting other areas of property tax in Ohio agriculture. If not for Farm Bureau, then who? Who is going to represent Ohio farmers while we're farming? Who is going to be there? Who's going to see that this is happening? That's Ohio Farm Bureau. That's you guys. That's what you guys are doing every day, and that's what our staff is doing every day. And if we're not sharing the message about what we're doing, then who's going to share that message? So sometimes we need to be a little proud. Sometimes we need to tell our story about the value that we are providing to our members and to Ohio agriculture as a whole. And we need to take that strength and set our sights on the new obstacles at hand. And that is why we are here. The conversations we have over the next 2 days will set our path for taking on tomorrow's challenges. I'm often inspired. I was at the discussion meet this morning and got to hear Cameron Reinhardt, Mel Ream, and Kane Lewis discussing water quality issues. And what a productive conversation it was. And they brought to an area we could all learn, and we do learn from these discussion meets about how to have productive, not be confrontational, not be patronizing, but to have productive conversations about important issues. And that is what we do here every year. We have productive conversations that bring us forward. Because in the next couple of days, we're going to be talking about CAUV and property taxes, balancing farmland preservation with landowner rights, eminent domain, local development planning, and water quality programs, and more. There is no doubt that energy development, wind, and solar is going to be part of this conversation. Not only has the use of wind and solar become a divisive topic within our own circles, so has where those projects are being placed. My hope is that we, as a collective group, can have meaningful conversations when it comes to policy around energy development, and that at the end of our time together, we create clear guidance for this organization moving forward. Now, all these issues, this may sound like a daunting task, but that is why we are here. There is no organization that does grassroots policy better than this organization. And it is so proud for me to be up here and listen to the debate that defines who we are as an organization. Our work, our strength of our membership will be proven by the work on this floor today. I appreciate all you do for Farm Bureau, and I appreciate the ability to serve you in this role. Thank you and have a great couple of days.